Setting up multiplayer can be a frustrating experience, but in this video I'm going to simplify the process and make it so you can set up your own multiplayer game in Unreal Engine 5. In this video I'm going to cover how you can set up a UI and the code behind it so you can join another person in multiplayer. And in a second video, I'm going to show you how you can connect your Unreal project to Steam and how you can package your project builds so that you can test them with another person over the Steam platform. We shall start with the UI and code. So we'll start by creating a new project. So first we want to set this up as a listen server. To do this, just click on the three dots here to change play mode. Go down, we're going to set the number of players to 2. And then for the net mode, we want to set this as play as listen server. Next, we need to create a new landing map. So to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to right click here in the content folders. We're going to create a new level. And then we're just going to call this boot level or whatever you want to call it. But we're just going to call it boot level. You then want to double click on this to open the level. And we shall save selected. In the level, you want to go to world settings and then change the game mode override to just game mode. Then up here, you want to go to edit, project settings. And then we want to go down to maps and modes. And now for the game default map, you want to set this as your new boot level. So next we want to create a UI for our boot level. So to do this, we right click in the content folder. You can organize this a little better than me. I'm just going to make it here. Go into user interface and then just create a new widget blueprint. We're going to just use user widget and then just name this whatever you want. I'm going to call it UI boot level. So next we open up the boot level and we're just going to make something very basic here. So we'll start with a canvas here. We'll drop that into the main thing. Next we want to create a border around this. So we're just going to add a border. And on this border, we're going to set it to, we're just going to set it to fill. Or set the anchor to this and then offset 200 to the left and 200 to the right. So it goes like that. And then we want to maybe bring it down 100 from the top and we'll go up 100 from the bottom. And now we're just going to remove it so it's invisible so you don't see it. To do that, we just hit the brush color, bring that down to 0. And that will set the transparency to 0. So next we want to bring in 3 columns here. So to do this, what we're going to do is first bring in a horizontal box. Like so. And then we want to bring in 3 vertical boxes in there. So we'll vertical box. 1, 2, and 3. So we want to set all of the vertical boxes as a moment to just take up that. We just want to fill all of that. So we'll fill and that will take up 100%. And then if we fill this one, it'll take up 50%. And if we fill the last one, it'll take up 33%. So each of these now takes 33% of the horizontal box. So next we're going to create a few buttons for the vertical box just here. And to do this, we just want to go up here and click button. We'll do these one at a time. So you get your button and you drop it into the middle vertical box. Oh, see there, it didn't go into the middle one. So we just want to make sure it's landed into the vertical box there. And then in the button, we're just going to call it create game button. Okay, so that's there. Just make sure that says variable. It should by default, but just make sure it does say variable. So now we just need some text to go onto that. So we'll just go text and we're just going to click normal text there. Drop it onto the create button. And then inside in here, you can rename that if you want, but we're just going to call that. We're just going to go into the text and then replace the text box and just call that create game. You can style this as however you want, but for me, I'm just going to keep it basic. So that's the first button done. For the next button, we're going to add it down here again. Make sure it goes into the middle one. We're going to name this, and naming this is very important. So name it join game. Button. And then we want to add the text for it. So we go up here, text. Drop it onto the button. Onto the button. And then we just want to create, we want to change the text here. It's already searching for the text thing. We're just going to change it to join game. Okay. Not sure what the first one, but we just want to censor these texts as well. So make sure both text are centered. So create game, join game, and we're going to need an input here so we can put an IP in. So for that, we're going to use a text box. So not text, text box. Again, we're going to drop that into the vertical box in the middle. And in here, we're going to name this, again, it should say variable, as you can see. We're going to name this server server IP input. And we'll leave it on the side. And then we should have hinted text in here. So I'm going to just search it to find it quicker. So hinted text, and inside the hint text, we're just going to write input server IP. We could probably make this, yeah, let's make this a little different color, just make it easier to kind of see. We'll just go black. Yeah, black. Okay, so there we have a basic. We might just actually drop it into the middle, so to do that, we just add a little spacer. Again, I'm not putting a lot of effort into this. There's the first one. And then we'll just add another one. Oh, so we added that, and then we just hit it to fill. So that'll push it all the way to the bottom, and then we'll add another one at the bottom. Just make sure it's inside in the, make sure it's inside there, and then we just put that to fill as well. And now we have our buttons in the middle of the UI. So a very basic UI, but look, we have our buttons and we have our variables on the buttons, which is the main thing. So next we'll go into the graph editor. Okay, so in the event graph, we want to first make sure that we have our 3 variables that we have set up in the designer part of the UI. And then we want to just go down here, and we'll start with the create button. So when someone creates, when someone presses on the button, we want to go down here. Just bring this up. We want to go down here. So on click. So when they press on the button, we want it to first remove all widgets. So just pull a node out here and remove all widgets. Once it's removed all the widgets, we want to then create a session. So create session. The player controller, we want to make it our player controller. So get owning player. And then once if all this is successful, on success, we want to open the level. So the level we want to open is whatever you want your opening level to be. I think this is third person map. Just double check. Project settings. Yeah, third person map. So third person map. Now the most important thing in here is drop that down, and in options you want to make this listen, because it's a listen server, so we need to make sure that that map is listening. Okay, so next, so that should, like, player one, when they click that, it should be able to create a game for them and they'll be able to host it. So then for the join button, so on click here, what we'll do for this is we want to first of all remove all widgets like the other button. Once all those widgets are removed, we want to execute a console command. So execute console command. So for the specific player, we want to be get owning player. So get owning player. And then for the command itself, we need two parts for this. So we'll say append. So just type in append coming from command. And for part A, we just want to write open. And yeah, open, and then just leave a space, and the space is important, so make sure there's a space. And then for B, we want to we want to get the information from the server input, so the part where they put in the information. So for that, we'll just click on the server input variable here, and then on text committed, click on that. Just put it up here. And for the text, we want to promote that for to a variable, and we'll just call that server IP. Oh no, sorry, we just call it IP input. Yeah, IP input. So once they have the IP input, we'll just feed that into B. So once it executes that command, actually, just in case they put in the wrong IP, we'll just put a delay in here. We'll make it about 5 seconds. Okay, and then we want to create a widget. We're basically just going to create the UI widget again. UI boot level. And the owning player will be get owning player. Okay. And then we want to just add that to viewport. Add the viewport, and just make sure you link up the return value into the target. Okay, you can compile that and save. Next, what we want to do is open our level blueprint. Open level blueprint. And for the event play, we want to create widget. Alright, so create a widget. Just pop it out here. And what we want here is the UI boot level. Okay, so that will boot up. And then we just want to get the player controller for owning players. Get player controller. Okay. And then we want to add that to the viewport. Add the viewport. Connect up the return value into that. Into target. And yeah, we'll actually put a cursor in here. So from the return value of get player controller, we'll set mouse controller. Or sorry, set mouse cursor. So set mouse cursor. And we'll just make that visible. And then feed that. Feed that into that. Like so. So that's event begin play. Create the, yeah, so that's that. So now we can test this. So click on your games. They should both boost up. Just to make it easier, I'm going to create the game on this one. So as you can see, I'm a single player here. And then for Control Tab, and then for the other person, we want to put in the IP. So you want to put in the IP 127. That's very light, so we're probably going to want to change the color for this. To fix the color, you just want to go into your UI, go down to server input. Yeah, you want to click on that and just change that to black. Okay, compile. So just to run this here, we'll open up these. So first we'll create a game on this one. So this is your create game or host game. And then for the other one, we want to input 127.0.0.1. So this is for learning local, but this will run through Steam as well. Just put in the IP address for the person you're trying to connect to, and then this will work. So we hit join game, and there we go. There you can see the other person in your game. Now, if you want to go further and connect your project up with Steam and package out a build so that it can be tested over the Steam platform, I will show you how you can do that in the next video. And I will leave a link to that below in the description as well. All right, I'll talk to you then.